use in your science classroom in an elementary setting. The first experiment that I have today is called crystal ornaments, which covers the 3 standards that have to do with matter and its interactions in 3rd grade. In this experiment, what students are going to do is they're going to take borax, boiling water, and pipe cleaners and suspend the pipe cleaners into the borax solution to create crystal ornaments. For this experiment, you'll need powdered borax, paper towels, a measuring cup, tablespoon, thermometer, scissors, pipe cleaners, glasses, water, and a way to boil water. First, students will take their pipe cleaner, fold it in a way that they want into a design for an ornament that you can hang on a tree. And these are some examples of ornaments that I have that I've already created. And they'll pour boiling water into their glass with 2 tablespoons of powdered borax. And then they'll drop the ornament into the glass and let it sit for either 4 hours or overnight. And then at the end, they'll take tongs, pull it out, dry it on paper towels, and then hang a string onto it until it's fully dried, and then they can hang it on a Christmas tree. Okay, so once your water is boiled, you'll pour the water into the glass like so. That will have 2 tablespoons of borax powder in it. You'll stir it with your tablespoon or stirring spoon, and then you'll put your ornament in as you see. And then once you have your ornament in, you'll leave it until it's cooled at room temperature, which can take a while. And students will measure the temperature of boiling water, and they'll measure the temperature of the room temperature. And then we'll see how it looks once it's crystallized. So here's our completed crystal ornament that we made with the borax and the boiling water. So as you can tell, when we first started this experiment, the borax was a powder, and when it was added to the boiling water, it created a homogeneous mixture where you couldn't tell the water and the borax apart due to the heat. And then once the water cooled, the borax re-solidified, forming crystals by attaching to our pipe cleaner. For our second demonstration, this is called Let's Wave. For this demonstration, you'll need 2 rocks and a stick, and then you'll have to find 2 different kinds of bodies of water. One, a shallow body of water, and another one, a deep body of water. This is for the 2nd grade standard that's called Waves and Their Applications and Technologies for Information Transfer, which students have to differentiate between wave types in shallow and deep waters. So what we would do is we would find a local spot with either a stream or a pond or a lake, and this is a stream, which is going to be our shallow water. Or if you don't have access to these things, you can use a deep tub of water and a shallow tub of water. So what the teacher would do to show students is they'd have their stick and then their pebbles. And depending on the body of water, the teacher would do this or the students could engage depending on how safe it was. But the stick, students would observe what kind of wave types are created by chaotic motion. And then they would throw pebbles into the water, which they could do, and they would observe the type of waves that occur. And since this is a shallow body of water, the waves wouldn't be as strong. And then we'll move on to our deep body of water. For the second part of the Let's Wave demonstration, I've come to a local reservoir, which is just a 5-minute walk from the nearest school. And this is going to act as our deep body of water. So I brought the stick, which again the teacher would do the stick for the demonstration just to be safe with the kids. And then I brought pebbles, and kids would each have a pebble to throw in the water to observe the waves. But the teacher would come and move the stick around and splash some water to see what waves might look like in a deep body of water and how large that they expand. And then students would take their rocks and they can toss the rock in. If they have flat rocks, they can skip rocks, and they'll observe the waves that happen in this body of water. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these rocks in. And they're listening as well. It doesn't make the same sound in the deep body of water as it does in the shallow body of water. So there we go. That's Let's Wave. experiment is based off of the 3rd grade standard where students have to understand the water cycle that takes place on Earth. And for this experiment / demonstration, because it's kind of both, students are going to create their own terrariums which will demonstrate the water cycle in a contained environment. This is what the terrarium will look like once the experiment is complete. And then they'll be able to see the water cycle from within whenever they want, and they can maintain it and keep it. So for this experiment, students are going to need jars or closed containers of some sort. You can use recycled to-go boxes as long as they have a seal. Students will also need glass pebbles. They'll need rocks, soil, activated charcoal, water, moss or a plant or both, and then a lid to put on their container. So what students will do first is put the glass beads down, they'll put rocks on top, they'll then put the charcoal, which we found from an old fire pit, soil, then they'll put their plant, so moss first and then plant, or they'll put the plant roots in and then put the moss over it, over the soil, and then they'll put a few drops of water into their mini ecosystem, and then put the container on. And it's nice to put a little date on the top of the container so students know how long it's been, and they'll see the water cycle occur. So the water from the plants will eventually evaporate to the sides of the jar, which will then condensate, and then precipitation will occur when it runs back down the sides of the jar, and then the plants will absorb it, and then it'll keep cycling. So that is my final experiment. So those are 3 science experiments and demonstrations that are both engaging and fun, where students can really put their hands on the material and learn the content. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and you found some new ways to bring these activities into your classroom. So, happy teaching!